endelea na mimi. Usipita alawa wakati mdara wako, lakini ujulikane ni nini kinakusumbua. Sababu alitoka huko akiwa mzima. Yenye kimehuzunisha, mtoto alipokuja akika Nairobi, aliambiwa akipigiwa picha na rafiki yake, ndio huyu msichana wako amefika airport. Tayari amekishwa kwa wheelchair.
Nilifika airport akachukua taxi mpaka Nakuru. Nikaenda ku General Hospital. Na pale nilipoenda chukua wakati mkojo akachukua wakaambia hawa ugonjwa wote ndani yangu. Ilikuwa imekura mwili yani like yellow. Mwili umetoka kabisa, ile ziauka wa tena. Nilipo 2 days nenda private hospital. Pale kuja nikaambiwa na zangu very sana ziko imported. So wakabu kunipa dawa yani kwa ile ni na zile that time ingewezana. Haingezikuwa kabisa, so I had many. Paka nisolishwe, kanifanya nini ndivyo Mungu. Na that place ndio tena ikanafuta a private doctor, mtu anaweza kudaibu. So that private doctor ndio alisubject madawa ine. Madawa ya kulipa mwili nguvu, kutia nguvu na hizo inzi na at least ya mifupa nguvu. Niweze tupata vile kujisupport sababu kukua ni mbele nilikuwa kaa na crawl back. Ndio ni pole.
Si kama wazazi, hizi ni ngumu Kenya. Naomba usaidie upande wa serikali. Huyo mtu kama huyo afadhiliwe angalau aweze tena kusaidia huyo mtoto. Kwa sababu saa hii mishipa yake ya mwili ilikuwa midhaifu.
Babu hata nilipokuja hapa kulikuwa utatari sana na daktari. Mara wengine wananiambia ni stroke, na wananiambia paralysis. Nikuja kaka pahali. Sasa ugonjwa hauani ni ugonjwa gani? Ikawa sasa ni mke kumtumia Mungu na kuamini Mungu. So just continue staying in prayers and God's help me.
So sorry, I wish you a quick recap. Thank you so much for creating time for us today. After going all the way to Vika, just hear about Lillian's story. Lillian just gave me the number of the agent who took her to Saudi Arabia. So I want to tag the agent and find out what really happened. We just call the agent. Pick up. Hello, how are you?
I'm okay.
I'm good too. Is this El Mary International?
It is?
Am I speaking to Elijah?
Yes.
Elijah, my name is Pasil. I've just been given your number by Lillian Changara. She was going to, be harassed by the boss.
She was harassed by the boss?
Yeah, she was being harassed by the boss, and then the boss on her, and she wanted medical help.
Okay.
Yeah, so she tried reaching you guys, and you not give her, necessary help she wanted. She wanted to end her contract. You guys did not allow her end her contract. She wanted to change boss. You guys did not give her that option.
Okay.
Yeah, what really happened?
When she was there,
yeah,
there's a thing she informed me about the issue of the boss, I think, whatever.
What did you do?
And we spoke to the office, and the office chose to help out. From there, didn't manage to get communication, but the office told me that they had already contacted the boss. The boss was already working on the case, of which I am not exactly sure that happened because she never communicated again. The next time she communicated to me was already in Kenya.
Okay.
Since she came to Kenya,
she's
never told me that she was ever poisoned. Number two, there's no time when she ever told me she was so returned and we failed to take action. I am the one who took her to Lebanon last time as a housemaid.
Yes.
She came back. I took her to Saudi Arabia as a housemaid. She signed the contract.
Hey.
How are you?
Pasil again. How are you doing?
I'm fine, I God.
It's still raining.
At least I stopped now, not like last time.
Ilikuwa inaonyesha kwa sababu tulikuwa call, kuna vid call. Hii mvua ni mbaya nayo. Yeah, sure. Now, I just wanted to clarify something. I spoke to your agent, Elijah. Elijah told me that it's the first time she's dealing with you. He's also cleared you to go to Lebanon. Is that true?
Yeah, it is true.
Or you went to Lebanon?
First time in Lebanon. Second time I can Saudi. Third time I went to Saudi.
Okay. So when did you go to Lebanon?
In Lebanon 2012. Ukauka 2014.
Yes. 2-year contract.
Yeah.
Alafu 2014 ukarudi Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, 2014 ya Saudi Arabia nikatakuwa 2016 na kukafungwa. Uliponguliwa ndio akarudisha.
So this incident we talk about happened. Did it happen the first time or the second time you were in Saudi Arabia?
Time, the second time I
Okay.
Time flies. These are quite sad stories of Kenyans in Saudi Arabia as narrated. Please make sure you catch part 2 of this story. Kenyan was also been in the Saudi Arabia and narrate to us on experience. Make sure you join us again Saturday at 8 p.m. Kenyan time on KTVs to bring you a story. Remember, if you have a story you'd like to share with us, to us through Obtraction at standardmedia.co.ke or DM us on social media platform at Obtraction. You can also follow me, Pastor Telewa, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, more of behind the scenes and any other emerging stories. Until now, hope to catch with you. Bye.
Mbali nami bado nakupenda, usende mbali nami sondoke mbali nami mi bado nakupenda. I'm here in Uganda, capital, Kampala. It's amazing. I'm still on the shore, hanging out with somebody. Because favorite singer and actress, Livenow Africa. Yes, Livenow Africa. This show is going to be a bomb.
Born November 1980 in Western Uganda, Juliana Kanyomozi is a well-known multiple award-winning Ugandan pop musician and R&B and 2000 was among judges on the East Africa's leading singing competition Tusker Project Fame Talent Search Show. Also one of the selected African musicians in Coke Studio Africa. Juliana unfortunately lost her son Kiran Kabuga in July 2014. She has since set up Kiran Kabuga Foundation in honor of her son. On 12th May 2020, she gave birth to a baby boy whom she named Taj. Today, Juliana Kanyomozi makes it to Globe Traction in this exclusive interview with Persil Telewa in Kampala, Uganda.
I like the look. People know you. Yeah, but for formality's sake, just introduce yourself.
My name is Juliana Kanyomozi. Some people call me Judge Juliana, especially in Kenya. But my full name is Juliana Kanyomozi. My stage name is Juliana. I'm Ugandan. Grew up in Uganda. I'm a musician, actress sometimes. I mean, I do a lot of things, but yeah, mostly people know me for being a singer.
What about your parents? How did they receive this whole singing, idea? Because you recorded your first album at 20.
Yeah, first song at 20.
Your first song.
My mom was very protective. My dad was very supportive. Yeah.
So were you a daddy's girl?
At the opposite end. Oh yes, I was daddy's
look at
girl.
you.
I was daddy's favorite. Mom was being mom. Mothers, we tend to be very protective of our children, more than the fathers. Not that they don't love their kids, but mothers are more because of the the connection. So my mom was like, no, you can't be going out there. Oh my God. And then daddy, on the other hand, was like, no, man, this is good. And this is what she loves. She has the voice. Let her go. I was lucky that I had my brother,
Is
like,
it the elder or the younger?
Older brother. Oh. So he was sort of like my protection, I would go with him if I had to perform somewhere. And so my dad felt that, no, she's safe. I mean, she's got Eddie with her at all times. And he'd always tell me, once you're done performing, you come back straight at home. I'm like, yes. So that's how it started.
You'll tell me about Eddie later on.
Yeah.
But I'm interested so much to know how you grew up, where you went to school to. Your English is amazing. Where did you go to school to? Yeah.
I changed secondary school a few times, but for the most part, the secondary school that shaped me was called Namasagali College. I went there in senior 2, I believe, because I'd been in senior 2 in a previous school, so I repeated it in that school. And then I was there for the rest of my high school.
I thought you perhaps went to, Britain or somewhere out of the country. Yeah,
No.
yeah. But that is a compliment.
Thank you. It could be the people I was exposed to, my friends. I had a lot of friends who spoke good English, but even the school we were in, Namasagali, he was British. First of all, he is British. He's not there anymore. So spoken English was important to him.
And talking about home, you remind me that you're still a new mom.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about
fresh.
Taj and your baby.
You know his
name? Oh, yeah.
Taj is fine. He's growing very fast.
Yeah.
He's a lovely, lovely boy. Time flies, really does. I had him right in the middle of
COVID baby.
Oh my God, it was
How was
what
that
an experience.
How was that experience?
It was COVID found me in Canada.
Canada is your third home.
Yes.
Yes.
You could say.
Yeah.
And so, I had Taj there. And then we were stuck there for a year. Yeah, it was quite challenging because, the whole world had locked down. We didn't know what was coming next. My hospital visits, I still remember walking into the hospital and it looked like a ghost house. Yeah. Because, there were no people. It was dead, apart from just the doctors. Because, during COVID, if you remember, there were people who were still allowed to go to hospitals, especially if it was
they were calling
something
them
that couldn't wait.
There's
a name they called them.
There's a name they were calling them.
But I remember me being pregnant, I had to keep going. And it was so scary. There were no patients in the hospital. Even some of the doctors wouldn't come. You would only go if you had a patient to treat.
To treat, yeah. It's an emergency, sort of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it was quite an experience. I think it taught me how strong I can be in a situation like that, where you don't know what's next. It's never happened to the world. So we're all, I'm sure.
We're all learning.
Yeah, you're like, what happens next? Does the world lock down forever?
So did you get pregnant when you're still here?
Yes.
Or it caught you in Canada?
No. I'd actually just arrived when COVID started spreading. 2-3 weeks in, COVID started making news. COVID started spreading. Yeah, I was about 5 months pregnant, 4 or 5 months.
There's something about women, Juliana. Besides you being a singer and a celebrity, there's something about women.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to plan how many babies you want in your head at some point. Yeah. So was Taj a plan for you?
Taj was, yes. Taj was a baby I wanted to have. And so, yes.
Why did you want to have that?
I wanted to be a mother again. Yeah, for those who know my story, I wanted to be a mother again. I wanted to be a mother again so bad. But it took me time to get to that place.
Yeah.
Yes. It took me a good 4 years to get to that place where I could open myself up to the idea of getting pregnant again.
Yeah. I know.
The trauma of loss affected me a lot. But I knew I wanted to be a mother again. And when that time came and I felt that I was ready.
Let's talk about you. It's been a while and it's been ages since you are publicly in Kenya, if you recall what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah, but perhaps before I get to that, I'm so interested to learn and get to know more about the Kiroga Foundation. Tell me,
Kabuga Foundation?
Yes, the Keron Foundation. Tell me about it.
We started the foundation in 2015, I believe.
Yeah.
It was started in memory of my son, who was called Keron Kabuga. Keron passed away in 2014, and
the foundation was an inspiration of something that he was very passionate about, and that was helping children. He was a very kind young man. Of, you know, when I grow up, Mom, I want to help children. I want to give them a home, them toys,
so
and
lovely.
he was very, very big on that. So when he passed, I asked myself, what's the best way to celebrate my son and keep him alive forever? And so we came up with the foundation.
I know you've spoken about that before,
Yeah.
but perhaps to me it will be the first time you're talking to me about it and the viewers. But what really happened? How did we lose him?
Karen had asthma from the time he was young. And so he got an attack, just a normal attack, like, you know. He had had so many attacks. We were even used to it. We knew how to treat him.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
the normal stuff, nebulize and all those other things. But this one was different. This one was different. It was aggressive. And so I got a call from his teacher at school. I said, please come to school. Karen has had an attack. He was playing soccer. He loved soccer. He was a good soccer player. So he was in the field. He was playing soccer. And that's when he got an attack. I remember the day the weather was not good. It was very cold. And so I rushed there, picked him up, and things happened so fast. So we ended up in hospital, and he just got worse. And we moved him to Nairobi, to Aga Khan Hospital, and he didn't make it. He didn't make it. It happened so fast. It was like a bad dream, you know, and it didn't make sense at all.
I'm so sorry. That was a little silence for him. Thank you.
The one thing I learned during that time is that nobody can understand your pain unless they've been through it. Like, they cannot get it. So someone will make a comment, and while it's very insensitive, it's also innocent in some way, because they have no idea what they're even saying. I experienced that a lot. It was also interesting to see that people move on very fast. I would sit in my house and I'd look at everyone out there, and you know, the world has moved on.
Yeah.
Everyone has moved on.
Yeah.
And I haven't, you know. That was tough. It's like, how is it that everyone has moved on? Yeah, so that was interesting because people kept asking me, when are you coming back on stage? And I'm like, can't they see? Don't they get it?
They can't see you,
You know, but they don't. They couldn't understand because they don't know what I was going through. So that's a challenge when you're going through loss and you're a public figure. You know, you have to separate yourself from that life and first take care of you. You know, and I made that decision. It was tough, and I said, you know what? I'll get back when I'm ready, no matter what.
Cheers to that. So usually I tell my friends, if we are toasting and we don't have a drink, we just cheers like this.
Oh, really?
So cheers.
That's funny.
That's so funny. Yeah. I'm so happy about you bouncing back, and I'm hoping we are going to see you, you know, very often.
Yes.
Yeah. You've been away. What have you been up to? I told you when I came in, I'm so curious about what has been going on with your life.
Well, first of all, I took a break once I conceived. I went away for some time. I only got back to work this year, and I started off with a concert which was very successful, sold out at Kampala Serena. And then I've been recording, so there's new music coming very soon, like literally in just a few weeks.
Wow, congratulations.
So
Can't wait to hear that. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it an album? Is it?
EP.
Oh,
EP.
you're
Very
so
excited
excited.
about that.
Yeah.
And more stuff coming in the near future.
I noticed you're so good at live concerts. You know, that's not everyone's.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone's. How do you do it? And perhaps for you thinking of a comeback and thinking of a live performance.
Yes.
Yeah, what got you to think about that instead?
About live performance, I think it's just something I've done for a long time. Like I said, more than half of my life I've been on stage, so I guess it comes naturally now. But why did I decide to come back with a concert after a long break? I wanted a more personal reconnection with my fans first. I wanted to physically see them. I wanted to feel their energy.
Aren't you surprised people still, you know, have so much memories, they love you. And I saw you perform, you are barefoot. Girl, you're a diva. Tell me about it.
No,
We're expecting to see you in heels, you know.
I don't take it for granted, man.
Yeah.
My fans have been with me all these years. I've seen people come and go. So to come back and do a concert without new music out, having been out of the limelight for more than 4 or 5 years, and the venue literally sells out even before the concert, really humbled me. Yeah, it gets me to appreciate really what God has blessed me with. It's not something I take for granted. It's not something you can buy with money. It's just favor.
You're loved.
Thank you.
Ekintu ky'olina oba okivuluga ekimala ne kigwawo olwo n'opapa ne wejjusa nti singa nakifaako bwe nzijjukira ebiseera ebyo amaziga ne ganyunguka wanjoogajoga nnyo nange sirikuddira ze nakwesonyiwa ne mmala n'emmeeme yange neekuta okukwagala yali nsobi ndayira sirikuddira.
I missed being on stage. My God, I really did. And I guess it's partly why I decided to come back with a concert. Apart from wanting to see my fans, in person, I missed it. I missed that. There's something about being on stage and singing for your fans, and just music for me is like therapy. So when I'm on stage performing and when I'm in studio recording, I literally forget all my problems. It's like I'm high on music. Yeah. It's something I keep telling those who want to, become, do what I do.
Yeah.
Do it because you love it. Because when you do that, it will be so easy. It ceases to be like a job,
There is only one Juliana Kanyamose. There can't be another.
Of course.
So you're writing your story.
Like there can't be another Pastel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about before you do an autobiography, Juliana, could you be candid and fair to me? And just tell me about Tad and good Tad, please.
Okay, I didn't see that coming. You are so... No. Here's what I do. And again, this is a lesson I've learned over time. With the time I've been in showbiz and I've learned that you have so much more peace when you selfishly keep certain slices of your life to yourself. As long as, like for example, I don't feel like I owe the public an explanation about my private life.
No, you don't.
I owe them an explanation if I haven't released an EP in 5 years. I do. So yeah, all I can tell you is I'm in a very happy place right now. And I couldn't be more grateful. And I'm just where I am.
Sing for me one of your best songs.
Oh my God, you're not doing that. Yeah.
My favorite is Sanyu
You
Liange.
didn't put me on the spot like that.
Yes.
What can I sing for you? I love all my songs. I can't say that, I love one particular one more than the other. They're all my babies. but I'll sing Kanyembe, and that's because of the meaning. Kanyembe is a gospel song. It was one of the first songs I did, but it was very deep because of the meaning behind it. Like I said, it's a gospel song. Kanyembe Nimuseri nyayo Yesu Mukama Wotolize nandibadde ntya Nabino Yonna Mukama ebinuma bitwale Abalabe bange banzijeko olukongolo.
Oh, you're still that vocalist. Now, one final one for this Kenyan who is so crazy about your tune and Bushoke. You remember it?
Yes.
Please do it.
Oh my God. Yeah! Oh my God. You just put me on the spot. Okay. I haven't sung it in a while. Usiende mbali nami
Ibado nakupenda,
usindoke mbali nami,
bado nakupenda,
usiende mbali nami, usindoke mbali nami,
bado na. You literally fire me.
You did well.
No.
You did well.
Thank you so much for your time. However, the last bit.
Yes.
Why do you think of doing music in your local dialect?
Yeah.
Because I understand like 95 of your songs.
95%.
Yes. 95% of your music is in Luganda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why that when you have quite a wide fan base? You know, people are in Swahili, English, and all of that. Why Luganda?
I think it just comes naturally because I'm Ugandan, and I also know that our fans in Uganda are very, very passionate about their language, which is why when I started out, I was doing English, and the reception was lukewarm. And then when I switched to Luganda, it was like magic.
You are there, darling.
Literally. So that's when I knew that, okay, when I'm singing for Ugandans, what they want to hear first is what they connect with the most. But that doesn't mean that my other songs are not successful. Like when I sing Usiende, the crowd still goes wild. When I sing Woman, the crowd sings along. So what that tells you is that music is music, regardless of what language you sing. It's just music.
So where do you draw your inspiration from?
Life experiences. Yeah, life.
So basically you're trying to just communicate, feel better. You know, I get it.
Feelings, what I've seen, what I've felt, what I've experienced myself, that all contributes to what inspires me.
You're so lovely.
Oh,
for her. Yeah.
Oh,
I was hoping that today you are the tomboy girl.
I love
so that you
this.
can have
so
some hoodie.
I'm gonna rock this for sure. With some nice
you can rock it on
sneakers
set.
or something.
If it doesn't fit,
I'm gonna rock it and post it on Instagram. But thank you so much. It's beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
I hope the show was amazing today and you loved it. I said, ulipenda. So make sure you join us again next Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Kenyan time only on KTN News as I bring you more and more amazing stories from across the globe. If you have a story you'd like to share with the world, as I usually say, please write to us through globetraction@standardmedia.co.ke or DM us on our social media platforms at globetraction or at KTN News KE. And tap that follow button to me on my social media handles at Pasil Telewa on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for more of behind the scenes. See you again soon as I'll be in a different city and country.
In Nairobi, we are the people who help link all of the 3 to 4 million Kenyans who are abroad to Nairobi. Okay, We're the ones who make sure or who facilitate that they are getting government services wherever they are.
She's charged with promoting dialogue with Kenyans living in the diaspora, championing their welfare and their rights, encouraging remittances to their homeland Kenya, at the same time harnessing their savings and investments, as well as mainstreaming their agenda into the national development processes. Today, we hung out with Roslyn Njogu, the Kenyan Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs, to discuss not only her role in dealing with Kenyans abroad, but also get to know her story.
I, Roslyn Njogu, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary.
Roslyn Njogu made history on the 22nd of December when she was appointed Kenya's first ever Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs in the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs.
For all of you diasporans, looking forward to working with you and supporting you. I'm very grateful for this appointment.
She is tasked with prompting dialogue with Kenyans living abroad, championing their rights and welfare, boosting diaspora remittances, encouraging savings, and facilitating foreign direct investment.
The State Department has been created out of a great need to support Kenyans living away from home, to keep them in dialogue with those at home.
Born in 1984 in Kitale, located in the western part of Kenya, Roslyn grew up as the youngest of her 5 siblings. Her mother was a teacher and her father worked for the Kenya Prison Service, and this saw them move from one town to another. Before her appointment, Roslyn was a lecturer at Riara University Law School and Kenyatta University. She holds a Master's of Laws degree from Harvard Law School and a Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Nairobi, where she is also pursuing her PhD. She is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya with over 14 years of legal experience, advising corporations in technology, health, energy, financial services, and international development into the ministry. She was the co-founder and partner in charge of the commercial law practice at LexLink Consulting. It is for these reasons that she makes it to Globe Traction with Persil Telewa. Who is Roslyn Njogu? Let's find out.
Hello and welcome to Globe Traction. My name is Persil Telewa.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for creating time for us.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
You know, you're the first PS to hold that specific office.
It's an honor, as I said. It's a real honor. It's a pleasure. It's also the responsibility on my shoulders is quite heavy. You have to do the work of institution building. You have to think about what that State Department should look like in another 60 years, 100 years, in an extremely globalizing, increasingly globalizing world. And ask yourself, what does a diaspora-facing, a diaspora-centric State Department look like? How does a government begin to embrace people who are traditionally not within its borders and begin to serve them? So it's the hard work of building the startup now, but it's also the hard work of seeing what 100 years from today looks like.
Have you been working with government before? How
No.
has been your career?
Not
Just
really.
give me an overview.
So I'm a lawyer
Yeah.
by profession. I have been practicing commercial law, but I've also been an academic for the last 14 or so years. So I teach law. This is my passion. This is what I have done for a long time. I have taught and practiced law. I'm a women's rights activist, women's rights scholar. So I have been writing and researching and teaching these things.
How did you grow up? Where did you grow up? Before we get to where did you go to school to?
I grew up around the country. So I am a very, what do you call it? Multicultural, is that a word that one can use to describe one person? but I grew up around the country. My parents were civil servants. My dad worked for the prison service. So between being born in Kitale and living in Nairobi as an adult, I have lived in about 9 counties in this country. So spent a lot of time with my family moving around. Thank you. Moving around a lot. So lived in, some places like Garissa and places like Rumruti. But also some sort of lush places like Nyeri and Meru and so on. I grew up in I guess what would be called today a large family. There is 5 of us, 5 kids. Have loved being a part of a large family. And the last one of 5.
Oh, look at you. So I'm speaking to the last one.
Yes, I am aware of all the memes that we have about last one, and I approve.
You approve. I'm glad you tell me which ones apply for you.
I approve. So when you look at some of these memes, really, you're blown away by Kenyans sort of
how
creativity, right? So there's the one for they have a picture of a monkey dying, right? And they say something like the last one, amembuosha vyombo, right?
Yeah,
so I love those. The first part of my life, I went to school in Meru, where my family is from, and that's from lower primary school and boarding school from age of 9, from grade 5. I look back to my childhood with a lot of glee. It was interesting. I did grow up, as I said, around the country, and a big part of my upbringing was in the country. So the usual things of going hunting with dogs, with the other children, and with my brothers and sisters, fetching firewood, the whole thing. What does a firewood girl look like? Anyway, so there is that part of my life which is fun. And just living out there, herding cattle, those are things I've done. That was a fun, very rich part of life. I did eventually go, and I think we need to pause for this. I went to Alliance. Yes, another meme.
So that means you are pretty good.
Yes.
Which I'm so proud and happy to talk about. You're pretty good because, Alliance didn't accept anybody, those years.
Yes, so I am, my children watch a cartoon called Peppa Pig. And the smart kids in Peppa Pig are called clever clogs. So I'm a bit of a clever clogs. I did very well at primary school level. So I went to Alliance. I think there were, 2 or so girls from Meru who went to Alliance in that year, so I went to Alliance. And quickly realized that you're the smartest kid in the room until you're in a room of the smartest kids in the room.
Yes.
A bit of adjusting, right, and a bit of heat, but I loved my time at Alliance.
Let's talk about now getting done with Alliance, and I've heard that you are at Harvard.
Yes.
Harvard girls. I've met a lot of Harvard girls, and it's engineering, and it's whatever, and it's whatever. I'm so glad to meet somebody who has done, what you've done, and who is in this place that you are. Tell me, how was Harvard?
So,
and how did you get selected to be there?
So after high school, I went to the University of Nairobi. The University of Nairobi.
Yes,
as we like
the
to say.
University.
Yes. I had done very well at high school. I had all A's. My name was the newspaper. It was a whole deal. And I went to law school, had the time of my life at the University of Nairobi Law School. I had this yearning to go and study abroad and so on, and I hadn't managed to do that at undergrad. But by the end of my undergrad, I was like, I think it's time to go and do this now. So I made a list of schools I was going to apply to, and I had on the list, I had Harvard, I had Yale, I had Stanford, I had Columbia. So I had basically, the biggest schools in the Ivy. And at the time when I had to do my applications, really I had application fees for one school. right? Because I think at the time it was like $80 or $70 or something.
And that was still a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. I was a student on help, you know, and there is life to live.
Yeah.
And so at the very last minute, my brother gave me $80 and I applied. And I had one shot and I applied to Harvard and I was like, oh my goodness.
I hope it goes through.
I hope it goes through. And also, I think I'm an idiot for applying to one only, but so I did. And by the time the offer came through, I was working at Anjawala and kind of was, you know, a pupil at the law firm. And, you know, it was a great
So
day.
wait,
Yeah.
Rosalind, did you
Yes.
apply to Harvard when you were done with your undergrad, or you applied while you're still doing your undergrad?
Towards the end, I applied because I think you apply, I want to say November, December, right? And then you only find out March, April, May.
How old are you? You seem pretty young.
You wait until I have food in my mouth to drop the how old are you question.
No.
I'm 38.
Still young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess I'd like to think so.
Still young.
Probably. Yes, I am 38.
How has it been working for the government of Kenya?
I think everybody has asked me, how is it going? How are you finding it? It's been the adventure of my life.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I am.
I think you're one of the few people that have told me that.
I am having the time of my life. I am having the time of my life. It is fun every day. It is hard work. It is hard. It is some of the hardest work I've ever done. I am loving my team. I have currently a team of about 35 or so, and you know, looking to grow to about 130 in the next few months. Within the Ministry of what is called Foreign Affairs, I had a Diaspora and Consular Services Directorate. So that directorate is what we are now giving legs and building up to become the State Department. So the entire team that was at the directorate
so we look forward to having
immediately.
something like Foreign Affairs and Consular Services.
So the ministry is now So the ministry is now called Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs.
Yes.
There are two state departments: Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. So Diaspora
So are they
Affairs
gonna
is the
break it
little.
up?
It is broken up.
Okay.
It is broken up, and it is broken up in the sense of two state departments, but within the ministry, right? So one big family, 2 children. So we are the last one. We're the younger sister.
So you're still developing.
So we are growing up, building up systems, clarifying what our mandate. The mandate is very clear. The mandate comes from the executive order, and so that's very clear. But what we've been set up
what
to
is
do.
your role in that particular office?
As principal secretary, you are the accounting officer. You are the authorized officer. You are the lead for that state department. So think of it as I guess private. In private sector, you'd be the CEO.
So it's more of the administration.
So yes and no, it's administration. So PSs do a lot of administrative work, but also we're the ones who cascade government policy to the ministry level.
Yes.
So what is government trying to do with its diaspora? It's 6 things. It's for me to internalize the 6 things that government is trying to do, create those into programs, all right, structure those in departments, come up with a strategic plan with my team, and then deploy and run. So that if we are not feeling the work that diaspora State Department does, then the buck stops with me, right? But I'm also the person in charge of running the budget for the State Department, right? So that's what accounting office largely means. I'm in charge of the team in the sense of making sure that they are motivated, people are getting their promotions, if there's disciplinary action to be taken. So you run, think of it as a private company, and PS is the CEO.
the Middle East, where we have cries and people complaining every other time that there are so many other girls at those rescue centers that need assistance and help, and they never get it. Has GOK gotten to them?
Yes, we have. I was in Riyadh 2-3 weeks ago. And part of what I did when I was there with the Ministry of Labor and so on is to go to some of these centers, including one called Sakan Holding Center, which gets a bad rap because people assume that it's a deportation center, which it is not. It's actually a shelter for women, for the domestic workers who are in trouble, where domestic workers who come there can get food, can get shelter for free, can get legal aid, and eventually tickets to get home. They do a lot of good work. So if someone is in Sakan, that person is actually quite fine. All right. So we went and on a fact-finding mission, but also to meet with some of the members of our diaspora there, to meet with, of course, my embassy officials, government officials from Saudi Arabia, and just to establish what is going on. We have, it's a more complicated situation than you hear.
You just got me thinking, because you hear.
But what I need to say is this, that one of the places where we have a lot of vulnerability is when a housekeeper who is, the way the Saudi system works is that I give you a visa that is tied to working in my house, for example, right? You cannot leave that contract and work in his house. You immediately fall out of status. But a number of housekeepers quit this employer who is the sponsor for your visa and attempt to get employment elsewhere. And when that happens, you immediately fall out of status. And when you fall out of status, a number of vulnerabilities immediately attach. For example, medical care is tied to your being in status.
So is that the reason why these employers, get hold of their travel documents so that they cannot?
So it's illegal even in Saudi, and I want to be understood when I say that once somebody has fallen out of status, then they enter the black market. And then you begin to get employment in a second and a third and a fourth house, okay? And you make some money, probably. But when you're out of status, it's very difficult for the law to see you. It's very difficult for us at home to know where you are as a ministry or as the embassy, to know where you are for us to extend you help. So this is happening a lot. And sometimes the people who entice housekeepers to leave their contract and go work elsewhere is unfortunately other Kenyans who are already there. And they say, this job is only paying you 30,000 shillings, come I'll show you how to make a little more. And so they fall out of status. Some of these young women do not know that this is not something you can do and remain in status, okay? So, and when that happens, then the vulnerability begins, because which employer are you tied to? How do we find them if they are unkind to you, they're mean to you, you're in an abused situation? You can't access medical care when you're in that situation. And so after you've been out of status for a while and life has become difficult, then we start to see videos coming up on TikTok, shared on social media. I get tagged on videos on a daily basis of, so-and-so needs help. But what we do at the embassy and here in the ministry is every case that comes to us, we follow up. We've given an email address where anybody who is in distress can reach us. We have shared information, and we will share again, and I'll share it with you here, where anybody who is in Saudi, for example, who is in distress, there's a number that can be called. Okay, for the Saudi government, it's 19911.
They say they call that number, nobody picks up. They say they
no,
call
the
that
19.
number.
I've even been to the call center. Yeah. The 19911 is a Saudi-run call center, which if you call and report I'm being abused by mwajiri wangu or something has gone wrong, they investigate and they send cops. And we tried that system when we went to Riyadh. Okay, we have a Kenyan number. Okay, the embassy. I'm working to a 24-hour call center that will be based here at the State Department of Diaspora Affairs, where anybody, any diasporian, anywhere can call anytime, day or night, and we'll get assistance. So that's coming up soon. And I think that's going to begin to alleviate a lot of those concerns. But I think a big part of this also is that we have to do better training, better education, so that you know you're not out of options.
I was about to tell you, so
yeah, if you end up in an abusive situation, for example, you're not out of options. I have been told, for example, hataki kutoka kwa sababu ameshikiwa passport, which is illegal, by the way, even in Saudi. People should not hold your passport. But even if someone keeps your passport and you leave without your documents, the embassy processes for you emergency travel documents. We do several every day, okay? So you should not feel like I have to stay in an unsafe place because what am I going to do without my passport? The embassy is going to basically ask you some questions, investigate, confirm that you're actually who you say you are, and our system is very good. We're able to immediately tell even who your mother is and where they are.
So
right?
tell me, are there any policies that have been formulated? Because I understand there's the policy that was done in, was it 2014 and 2015, diaspora policy? I tend to believe it's quite outdated.
I wouldn't say it's outdated.
Is it really helping? Because we need to look into the welfare of any Kenyan living abroad and see how other states protect their citizens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and that's a good question. So a number of policies are actually at play here. So there's the diaspora policy of 2014, which is currently under review. Again, it's been almost 10 years. So a number of things have changed. Trends are different. We're having new sort of challenges, particularly migrant workers. We're talking now about supporting investments and so on. So it's currently under review. But specifically for migrant workers, there is a policy as championed by the Ministry of Labor, who's the line ministry really that deals with all kinds of labor, whether domestic or global labor. And that policy is also in place. So there are a number of policies. But policy is important. The policy is as good as its implementation.
True.
So the fact that we now have a State Department that is whose entire job is to look at diasporians at whatever level and run interventions for them should give us a lot of hope and should give us all a lot of a sense of something is being done, right? And we can expect something to be done. So, and we are doing that. As I was saying, I think we got stuck at the third point of my mandate.
Because that's where everything
it's critical,
is at.
and I get that, and it's critical. And without fixing that welfare and rights foundation, you can't do any of the others. So which is why for us also just fixing that pillar for rights and welfare is critical, because when we fix that, then you're able to build on it, the dialogue that I talked about, the involvement in national development processes, the diaspora investments and savings, international jobs. So a big part of our mandate is to help Kenyans find international opportunities. That's jobs, that's scholarships, that's helping diasporians who have businesses abroad thrive. Okay, that's where we're able to. Then we can, only at that point when we have savings, we have jobs, we have rights and so on, can we then begin to talk about the sixth thing, which is remittances. And if you fix these other 5 things, you never even need to talk about remittances.
True.
As they say, zinajileta tu, right? You fix these 5 things, and then it's almost a foregone conclusion. So it's a big mandate. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's
and
my
you
pleasure.
can now enjoy your meal. No more talking.
Thank you very
I'll
much.
try
I appreciate
to keep the table manners.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Asante sana.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you join us again next Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Kenyan time, only on KTN News, as we bring you more global stories on our show. If you have a story you'd like to share with us, please write to us through globetraction@standardmedia.co.ke or DM us on our social media platforms at Globetraction or at KTN News KE. You can also give me a follow on my social media platforms at Pasil Telewa on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for more of behind the scenes. But until then, I hope to catch up with you again soon. Bye-bye for now.
Kweli msweet.
Wewe ni mzuinyo. Wacha kuangalia. Tajua tunamwangalia.
Kwani ni nani huyo?
Si wangu.
So tutoke hapa ama unataka tufanye?
Hatutoki hapa. Yes sir. Tunataka kucha. Samaki. Alafu madfish. Madfish. Catfish. Red spanner, red snapper. Red snapper. Fries. Kukubiri. Quarter.
The most expensive wine. Very good for your menu.
Okay. Waiter. Kuna hii kitu mnaita Virgin Mary, tuletee lita 5, alafu kuja karibia. Milkshake na jug.
The chicken. Yeah.
Yes.
And French fries too.
Yo te traigo esta bomba Puerto Rico. Para siempre, baila y goza. Mi bomba puertorriqueña.
Umeona hapo umeweka namba yenu ya kulipa. Thank you.
Melissa will say to love you, right?
Aje?
Okay.
Hauna pesa aje?
I say, tell me you're joking, you have cash.
Je, umejibaka?
So if it wasn't for the work that I did at Singora Girls, I don't think I would have been in the United States. The beauty with us in the US is we are together. We have no tribe, we have no ethnicity, we are Kenyans. Stay connected with a community. Could be a church, could be whatever, but do not live by yourself. When that encounter happened where I was hurt and this right here, and I ended up being in the emergency, I was in a coma. So when I got back, I thought I was dead actually. So I remember asking God, I said, God, if you give me this opportunity to leave.
How long were you in a coma?
I think it was about a week. So I said, God, and I remember that was in North Carolina. So I said, God, if you give me this opportunity to leave, I will leave for you and I'll speak up on this topic.
From a mentor to a CEO, mother, I'm talking about Phyllis Gerono, a professor from the University of North Carolina, Central University in the United States of America. Phyllis breaks to us how it has been for her going through domestic violence in the midst of her career and also raising her 2 beautiful daughters. Enjoy the show.
Gerono Phyllis Rotich, a professor of kinesiology at the North Carolina Central University in the United States of America. She is the CEO and founder of Women and Youth and Global Diversity Consulting, a firm that advocates for the empowerment of women and the youth. Professor Gerono is the current president of the Kenya Scholars and Studies Association, KESA, and the Carnegie African Diaspora Fellow. She also served as a commissioner on the status of women in Guilford County, USA. And now, let's delve deeper into this mentor, mother, activist, CEO, who has endured social and domestic violence to become what she is today.
Welcome to the show, Prof.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation.
For those who don't know you, tell them your name and what you do.
My name is Professor Gerono Phyllis Rotich. I am a professor of kinesiology and department chair at the North Carolina Central University in Durham, North Carolina, USA. I am also the president of the Kenya Scholars and Studies Association. That's an organization that brings together scholars outside Kenya. and we have conferences, we have meetings, we have a journal, we have publications, so we do a lot of great work in focusing on Kenya. I'm also the CEO and founder of Kenya Students in Diaspora. I am also the CEO and founder of Women in Youth Consulting. And then among other organizations that I serve in Kenya, I am on the National Executive Board of Kenya Christian Fellowship. I am also on the board. I've served as a president for the Katapka and vice president, and then I'm a commissioner for research and publication with the International Council of Traditional Sports and Games. And I'm a proud mother of 2 girls.
Come on, the introduction. You bear so many titles. I mean, there are a handful. How would you like me to address you?
Just call me. Just call me Prof.
So, Prof. Gerono. Yes. Yeah, the people who are in the U.S. perhaps have met you, and people who are in Kenya, because I understand you do a lot of things. When did you go to the U.S.?
I went to the U.S. in August 1995. I received a scholarship, a graduate assistantship, to do my master's in sports science at SUNY Brockport, New York.
What does sports science involve?
So sports science is actually a bigger field now. We call it kinesiology, that looks at the study of the human movement, the body, of the kinetics of the human body. So it encompasses all fields in sport. It includes sports science, exercise science, sports medicine, exercise physiology and anatomy, sports psychology, physical education, teaching and health. We have also athletic training, conditioning, we have therapy, physical therapy. So it's an all field that encompasses the study of the human body, the movement. So yes, it's a very interesting field. I did my undergraduate at Kenyatta University.
Oh, you're an alumni of KU?
Yes, I'm an alumni of KU, and then thereafter I was teaching at Singora Girls and at Kenya Science Teachers College before I left to the US. So I've been there for 28 years.
28 years. What got you to go to the US?
I was teaching and coaching at Singora Girls. And I used to travel with the student athletes, so I know those who are in Washington, Seattle, now Oregon. I hope, congratulations to all those who have won. So I worked very hard with the girls, and one professor, her name is Professor Rose Thompson, she had come to visit her sister, and she liked what I was doing. She was very impressed with my professionalism, what I was doing. And she asked me if I wanted to come to the U.S. because she was preparing to take her sister to go to the United States, Linda. So I said, sure, who would say no to the U.S.? Yeah. So then she traveled back, and I was at Kenya Science. I transferred to Kenya Science. So she sent me the application forms for SUNY Brockport, and that is how I got there. So I always tell people, whenever you're given an opportunity to do something, do it so well, because first of all, God is watching and others are watching. So if it wasn't for the work that I did at Singora Girls, I don't think I would have been in the United States. So I do want to thank Professor Chibetor Thompson for opening that opportunity for me, because I hadn't thought about it.
When you set foot in the U.S., you just came from Singora Girls. What was that one thing that struck you?
The culture. The culture was very different, and you know, I went to, you've been to the U.S., but I went to Brockport, that is near Rochester, near Canada. It was extremely cold. So the weather was bad, because I went there in August. So the weather was amazing. The weather was bad. It was freezing. It was cold. It was snowing. So the weather and the culture was extremely different. It was
winter.
It was winter. It was the beginning of winter. So the weather was a shock because it was cold, it was snowy, it was winter. I didn't have the appropriate dressing for the weather. And then the culture is predominantly white place. Upstate New York is white. So the culture was extremely different because there were very few people who looked like me. And then going to the class, the expectations were just different. I remember the first time I went there, the first day I went to class, because our classes were in the evening. I was a graduate assistant, so I was teaching during the day, and then I had to go to class at night. So the first night, the professor gave us a 5-page assignment that has to be typed. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even have a laptop. I don't even know how to type. So that was like, wait a minute, I think I'm at the wrong place. I did it.
About you being 2 kids?
Yes.
2 beautiful girls. They are all grown right now. When you went to the U.S. then, how were they? How was it for you?
So when I got my I-20, I thought I would travel with my daughter, who was at that time 1 year old. And the embassy did not allow me to travel with my child. At that time, I didn't understand why they were denying me, but later on, I truly appreciated that because there was no way I could have managed. So I ended up traveling alone, and my daughter joined me 1 year later with the father. So that is Valerie. She's 28 years old now. She came to the U.S. when she was 1 year old. She's doing very well. She works for a nonprofit organization in the U.S. and she does donor development. And their program has a school in Muhuru Bay.
Yes.
So she was here in May. She travels a lot. They focus on empowering women and youth. So she does an amazing job, just like her mother does.
Yeah, I think she's picked after the mother.
Yes.
Yeah, what about your younger daughter?
My youngest daughter, Vienna, is 25. Valerie has the same birthday with me, so she just turned 28. Vienna is a student. She's doing a master's in information science and business administration. Yeah. So she's finishing up in December, but right now she's doing an internship with Dell. So she's busy working full-time in the summer and taking classes. And they're all adults. I've been here for 2 months and they're all taking care of themselves.
You must be so proud as a mother.
Extremely proud. I could not have asked for greater children and greater daughters like that. They're beautiful girls. They love the Lord. They work very hard. They're very responsible, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So I'm very proud of my girls, and I want to thank my mother because she raised me well, and that's how I'm able to raise my children well. She's a lovely, wonderful mom. Yes.
Tell me about your scholarly work, because I understand you have a lot of partnerships, going on with the University of Nairobi, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, so I'm actually here in Kenya under the Carnegie African Diaspora Fellowship. So that is a program that is funded. They actually fund projects in Kenya. So right now we're actually 14 of us who have been funded by African Carnegie Fellowship, and they fund projects. So the universities here in Kenya, they submit a project, and then they match the project with a faculty member who is from Kenya in the United States. So I was matched with a project at the University of Nairobi, and this is actually my second consecutive year. I was here last year in June and July, and you can only do 2 years, so this is my last time. So I've really enjoyed working with the University of Nairobi, Department of Physical Education and Health, and we're doing mentoring, curriculum development. I'm actually serving right now, I'm serving as external reviewer, so we've been reviewing dissertations, theses, the exam, and just doing whatever they need me to do. So I do want to thank Drs. Munai and Dr. Otieno and the leadership of the University of Nairobi for opening doors for us to come here. We have free services from diaspora scholars who are eager to give back to our country, Kenya. So we want to share the skills that we have learned, any opportunity that we can link. So part of what I'm doing is mentoring graduate students, working with faculty on research, reviewing their curriculum, their external exam, and also developing that international collaborations. I was able to travel I was invited to go to Kabarak University. They were actually looking at establishing a relationship with the Indiana Bloomington, the School of Public Health and the School of Medicine. A few weeks ago, I was invited as a guest speaker at the Mayo Institute of Technology University, and I spoke there, and they're also looking for those opportunities. So if there are any universities out there who are looking for collaborators, reach out to Kenya Scholars and Studies Association, KESA. We have many, many professors and professionals who are willing and ready to assist to improve the education in our country.
Great. I see that you have so many professors, in that specific organization. However, you understand that we have such a big gap in Kenya. Right now, we don't have as many professors, in academia as we would have hoped to be. What do you think could be the problem?
I think it's the opportunities there and also the willingness to really recruit from diaspora. Like you said, you're right, we have many professors. This is our 14th annual conference, and the embassy, the Kenyan embassy, have closely worked with us. The Ministry of Education have also worked very closely with us. They're very supportive. They come to our conferences so they can attest to the level of the professionals that we have, to the level of skills that we have, and to the level of commitment and the love and the passion that we have for our country. I'm just not sure if there's been that efforts by the Kenyan universities to really reach out to us as professionals. We can help research, we help, whatever they need. So I just hope that they can be more receptive. They can come out very interested, and they've really participated and supported us. So I do want to applaud help with under the leadership of Ringera, because through that, a lot of us have actually paid back our loans. So we just don't support with research, with scholarship, with mentoring, but we're actually giving back. Something like help, we're paying our loans back. I think most of our CASA members have actually repaid their loans back. So we work very closely with those organizations.
Let's now talk about those who are not yet in the diaspora, the students especially, but have plans to go to the diaspora. Do you have anything for them?
Yes. So those who are traveling, first of all, congratulations for even thinking about coming to the U.S. It's a great place with great opportunities. But before you get there, just take some time to read about the state that you're going to or the university that you're going to. Make sure you understand the place very well. You understand the do's and the don'ts, the weather and things like that. And even before you get there, we even have students who are members of CASID who are still here. I will have one who is a wonderful student. There's some students who are at Arkansas State University. They joined CASID even before they came to the U.S. So because they have this network, we have WhatsApp, we have 4 WhatsApp groups, we have a Telegram, so you can ask any question. So join that, seek out, go to the website, reach out to any of us so that we can guide you, so that as you step into the U.S., you have an idea of what to expect. You have networks, you have people that you can reach out to. We can assign you to a mentor even before you get there. So again, do your homework and do not be isolated. The problems that we've seen with the students who don't do well in the U.S. is they come in there and they stay on their own. They don't want to reach out to the Kenyan community. They don't want to reach out. They are not connected to any faith-based organization. They are not connected to any community. So they're on their own. And then what happens is when they run into problems, like they lose a scholarship, they get sick, they get, all kinds of stuff happen. Life happens in the U.S. Yeah. So we tell them, as soon as you get there, reach out. We have so many organizations. Like I said, we have CASA, we have CASID, we have Kenya Christian Fellowship. We have different organizations for different ethnicities, Kotapka, for example. So reach out. Reach out to them, reach out, go to church, be a member, be seen in your community, be present in your community, and don't live alone. In America, we call it social investment. You have to invest, you have to get connected with people, otherwise life can be difficult.
Now that you raise social investment, there's this thing that keeps, coming up, especially when one of us gets to lose their loved ones, or we have loss of lives in America, and then we have to have the body brought back home. Are there any mechanisms that have been put in place? Because the last time I checked, it has been hectic and very, very expensive.
That's a wonderful question. I'm actually glad you asked. We have so many organizations. That's why I said get connected to the community. We have benevolent groups. So we call them benevolent groups. So you become a member, like in North Carolina, we have about 5 different ones, among the Kotapka. So there are so many benevolent groups that you can belong to. What happens there is you contribute. So let's say somebody loses their loved one. We recoup. I'll give an example of the one we have in North Carolina. Is somebody loses a loved one, each person contributes $40. That's not a lot of money, and we're able to give that person up to $5,000. That's more than enough for them to get a ticket. And those who are not able to travel, at least they can send that money home. So if you're part of a benevolent group in your community, then you are fine. The problem is with these people, again, who do not want to belong to a community. So what happens is, if you don't want to belong to a benevolent group, what that means is you don't want to help somebody when they have a problem. But when you have a death in the family, you have something that goes on, you want to be helped, right? Yeah. So the people, they're like, where have you been? So it's a two-way traffic. So join in there, something happens, and when something happens, you get the money immediately. You get your check immediately, then that way you're able to travel home and you're able to or send the money as you need. Again,
Are they formally registered kind of groups?
Yes. Most of them, they're actually in every state. So that's why I said get connected, find out what is going on. There are so many of them within communities. The reason is they're within your local communities because we want to make sure that it's actually real. So for you, let's God forbid you say that I lost somebody. Some people, we have good people. We have very good people. Well, we have some people who are not really good, right? You know that, right? So they'll make a story. They said I lost my grandma. No, we don't cover. I lost somebody, but they're lying. So we want to be in that network so we can actually verify to say, is that true? So you join the organization, you give a list of all your siblings, somebody refers to you. So if you lose somebody, is that true? And you get your money immediately. So again, I cannot overemphasize that. Stay connected with a community. It could be a church, could be whatever, but do not leave by yourself, especially our young people. The young people that we see coming in nowadays, it's very difficult. We only get messages when something bad has happened. I've been in that position. I've received so many phone calls, especially from colleges. So and so we have a student here who has died or who is sick or something has happened. We need help. Or we even have people who die and there's no one to reach out to them. So again, it's like you said, the beauty with us in the US is we are together. We have no tribe, we have no ethnicity, we are Kenyans. So we love one another, we work together, and we will come in to support one another anytime. But you gotta be mad. We gotta belong to the community.
You gotta belong to the community.
So I'm going to say, in the US, as we do everything. We're going to drive, so Karibuni, I hope I'll still remember my people here with their hands. Let's see what she's got. Karibu jikoni.
Thank you.
So I hope you help me to make some nyama hapa hivi.
Good.
So we have.
I love nyama.
Wait a minute.
Just hold for some time.
Okay, good. Okay, good, perfect. So yeah, this is a little bit of what we do. In the US, Hatuna maid. We are the drivers, we are the maid, we do everything for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're used to doing this. We get up in the morning, we make breakfast,
yes.
We come back, toa viatu, we go straight into the kitchen.
Great, and now that you're talking about peleka watoto shule, go straight to the kitchen. Tell me about your personal life, Prof.
So I am currently I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
Life happened. I went through some challenges like violence, a few things here. But I looked at those as teachable moments. I learned a lot, and to me, when I went through all those stuff, it felt like I was knocked down, but I was not knocked out.
Yeah.
So I realized very quickly that I need to bounce back so that I can take care of my children. So I'm a single mom. I'm a very proud mother of 2 girls, beautiful girls who are doing very well. So what I do is I've worked very hard, realizing that as a single parent in the US has not been easy.
Yeah.
So I've taken that initiative myself to really focus on the why. What really took me to the United States.
Yeah.
And what took me to the US was to get a better life, was for my children to get a better education. So then, of course, we put God first. I'm a born-again Christian. I love the Lord. So we put everything that I do, I put God first. So my day starts at 5 o'clock. I wake up, I join a Global Prayer Network that was started by Reverend Grace Como. After my prayers, I do exercise. I have a machine in the house. I do my exercise.
Yeah.
After that, I shower. It's not like you are good. I don't really have to cook for them.
Oh, yeah.
But ideally, when they were young, I make
You
breakfast for them, and then I get ready to go to work. So my day starts with prayer and exercise, so that by the time I get to work, then I'm fully prepared to face the day. I have a 45-minute commute, so I drive 45 minutes to work. And I take my work very seriously. To me, just like, I love to cook, I clean, I do everything.
Yeah.
Hata shamba. By the way,
Unajua
I
kulima.
have a little kashamba. I have a little
Like a
kashamba,
garden
but
or
I have
something.
a little garden. So
Yeah.
I plant. So I have managu. I have tinsaga. I don't know if you have tinsaga, but we do a lot of tinsaga. So I have my managu. I have my tinsaga. So when I'm not at work, I spend a lot of time in the garden. I love flowers. So my life, I live a very simple life, but a very focused life. I look at my job as a mission field.
So perhaps you just tell me it's about you going through domestic violence.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of women go through that.
Yes.
And not so many talk about it.
Very true,
Yeah.
very true. So I went through domestic violence. It was actually really bad. It got to a point where I gave up in life, and I almost gave up. Took my life away and my children. But I remember one afternoon when life was very hard. Some friends of mine, I'll never forget about them. They stopped by the house, and it was a prayer group. So they stopped by the house and.
You want to cover this prayer?
Oh, the God is ready. We need to make ugali. We don't have like that.
So I can be making
Yeah, make
okay.
it. Oh,
Can I be
make
making
ugali.
ugali and then you'll be making the
We have to switch this one.
Can I? Oh.
Sure, please help.
So nipikie wapi mimi?
I think we'll move this one ndio ukimbie. You still remember ugali?
I know how to cook ugali. What do you mean?
You do. I think we need to move ugali this way.
Hope it's not too
Yeah,
hard.
like I said, as we do everything for ourselves. So mimi nimezoea hii kazi. I clean,
It's
I
okay.
cook, I drive, I do everything. We have the drivers, we have the. So when I went through life, the
How do I get to like this? I think I can figure out.
Figure it out, yeah. Okay, there you go.
No, that one is the last one.
Usichome mboga yangu. Is that? Okay,
I don't
have
know.
these out. Okay, may have. Okay, perfect. There you go.
Oh, I may have to use the last one. It looks bigger.
Let's use the last one.
It's okay.
So you were telling me about life. So this group, to me, I believe they were God sent.
Yeah.
Because they came at the right time when I was really tired and I was exhausted. And I was about to lose my scholarship at school because at that time I was left with 2 children by myself, and they were very young.
Yeah.
They were actually 5 and 8. So my struggle started from there because I didn't have anybody to support me. I had to work from 8 to 5, and then I had to take classes in the evening.
Yeah.
And then I had to do homework, and so I ended up getting a 3rd shift job so I could work at night and do all these things. So honestly, life was not easy. But by the grace of God, I really focused on my why. Like Simon Sinek says, if you know your why, so my why really helped me to keep focused, to keep moving, and to keep doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
You got that? Okay. That's very good, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just
Kwani wewe unamwaga unga yote?
Sawa, nisimalize.
Nataka kumaliza unga yangu ya mmoja.
Yeah. So tell me, I'm still interested when you are married and then you're going through domestic violence and you have kids. How old were the 2 beautiful girls then?
Yeah, so I got married here before I moved to the US.
Yes.
And then my kids.
Sorry.
Where is my
I can see a towel here. Yeah.
So my kids were very young when I was going through this tough life.
Yeah.
So I ended up being by myself.
Yeah.
But thank God my siblings were there. I had taken my brothers to the US, so they were able to help. So they supported.
Yes. Your brother were there?
Yeah. Okay. But it was not easy. It was not easy because in the US, for one, I could not afford to take them to daycare. I hope this is how you cook.
No, I mean, we eat, everyone has their skills, eh?
Just trying to
Si unajua kila mtu anapikanga design yake.
Just trying to.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
Yeah,
utakula, this is how we eat. Sisi tutakula hivi. Wewe maisha yetu, as long as you have food at the table. So this is some choma, some boozy.
Yeah.
I see you're cooking the ugali.
Yeah.
So it was a struggle because I had to vent by myself. So I reached out to the church, really helped me. My friends and church members were really there to stand with me.
Yeah.
But also, like I said from the beginning, I have wonderful children who kind of figured out from an early age that their mother was struggling. So we struggled
together. What was their reaction, their responses?
It was tough. It was very tough because they could see the struggle. But I remember my professor, and I'll never forget her name is Jewel Cooper. She told me, she says, my dear, don't let your children see you crying. And I tell women this, when you're going through a tough time, don't let your children see that you're struggling.
Yeah.
So she told me, she said, go take care of your children, put them to bed, and cry all you. And that's what I did. I used to have a hard face.
Yeah.
When they go to bed, I cry all I want to cry. And then by 5 o'clock, I wake up again and put up a tough face, a hard face. And so, you know, and to all the single mothers and to all the single parents, wherever you are, I really applaud you. It is not easy being a father and a mother. But to me, when that happened, and I don't want to get into the details, the nitty-gritty part, when that happened, I realized that that was my new normal. So to me, my new normal was I was a single parent in a foreign country with very limited support and with limited resources. So I stood by God. I really seek God, and I made time for my children. That's the beauty of the part is I sacrificed my sleep. So I made time for my children. I was there in school. I was there as a parent when they needed parents to be at school. I was there to do their homework. They never missed anything. They didn't like anything. So that is what I did. And you know, by the grace of God, I graduated. So my kids actually should get a PhD because we went to school with them. You know, I literally used to take them to class in the evening because I used to teach in the morning from 8 to 5 as a graduate assistant. But then at night, my classes were from 6 to 9. So I used to bring my kids
during the day and then in the evening.
Yeah. So 8 to 5.
That is a hectic schedule.
It's
okay.
Yeah. Okay, kidogo tu.
Tuweke kasupu.
Kasupu kidogo. Tuweke kasupu. Yeah, tuweke kasupu kidogo.
Is this enough?
You know, my kids used to love soup. Yeah, that should be enough. Yeah. So then I used to teach from 8 to 5 because as a graduate assistant, you are required to teach. You're required to work 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then in the evening, all our graduate classes are in the evening so that they can accommodate professionals, those who work during the day.
Yeah.
So nikimaliza I'd work at 5, nakimbia nyumbani na wachukua watoto from school, and then I bring them to class. So my children were always sitting behind. They were very good girls. They sat there, they did their homework until I graduated.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was not easy, but it's, you know, by the grace of God, I stood firm. I was resilient. I focused on what I came to the country to do.
For how long, you know, were you married, and where did it get for you to realize that you need to be out of that marriage?
Yes.
Tell me, what was that turning point for you? You know, umefika mwisho sasa.
Yeah. So when that encounter happened, where I was hurt and this right here, and I ended up being in the emergency. I was in a coma. So when I got back, I remember, I thought I was dead actually. So I remember asking God, I said, God, if you give me this opportunity to leave.
How long were you in a coma?
I think it was about a week. So I said, God, and I remember that was in North Carolina. So I said, God, if you give me this opportunity to leave, I will leave for you and I'll speak up on this topic. Because I went through abuse for a while, but it's this thing of unafungulia.
Yes.
You know, we get told, people tell you, you're trying to save face.
Your marriage.
You're trying to save your marriage, you're trying to save face, you don't want people to know that you're struggling, but you're suffering internally. It was so bad that I started developing thyroid problems.
Oh, sorry.
So I ended up, you know, they ended up removing my thyroid. But I was suffering inside. I knew I was suffering inside. I knew the kids were not comfortable. So when I get out of there, actually, he had left. And that to me was, I'll never go back. I will never go back to marriage again. And you know, some people want to go back, but not me. I was too traumatized, and I do not want to go back. So I just don't feel like, to me, that was it. To me, that was it. So there's some people who would want to go back again, but to me, I wanted to live for my children. I wanted to be a mother and a father for my children. So I put aside everything. Like I said, my life is God, my children, and work. Because I knew the work is feeding my children. I knew that I needed a God to give me that faith to push when those days are hard, when I don't know where I'll get the next meal, when I don't know where I'll get what my kids need. So my children are my focus. So I looked at myself, I picked myself up and I said, you know what, no turning back.
being resilient. I was bouncing back. I focused on God. I looked at the purpose of my life. I really found time for my children. You know, spend time. They never missed anything. I saved money. They went on mission trips. They went on mission fields. They went on summer camps. So I did what I needed to do for them. So I tell women out there, I don't know what you're going through, but speak to somebody. Talk to somebody about
Did you
what
go
you're going
for
through.
any counseling? You had said Sun is Coco. Let me bring Sunny for Ghana. Did you speak to anyone? You know, like
Yes, I did. I actually went for counseling. I went to the church and I had good friends. So the other thing is have good friends. You can vulnerable because a lot of them will blame you. You know, unfortunately, we're in a culture where something goes wrong, they always blame the lady. They always blame the woman.
She didn't stand up for her marriage.
No, she didn't stand up for her marriage. But but nobody knows what you go through. So I'm very passionate about single parents because there's so many single parents from. Oh, was it Jamaica? So there are women who are single for different reasons, but just hang on in there, ladies, and you know, take care of your children. Don't listen to what people will say. As long as you know your why, then keep doing it. You know, we have so many women in the U.S. who have lost their lives. We have so many people here who have lost their life from abusive marriages. You know, the athletes the other day. So we have people who are suffering internally, but they are not able to talk about. I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
So it's time to pull it.
Tukule
tutakula sahi. Too bad sikulete mursik, imagine. I blame them on my mother. Mama yangu hakunitumia mursik. So madhe ameniaibisha, madhe leo umenikosea. Madhe amenikosea. I think this is ready to go.
Yeah.
Yep, they should be good to go.
I think you can serve the both and then let me serve it.
Yep, so go ahead, yep.
So you were saying something.
So I was saying, if you find yourself in a crossroad in life, just pick yourself up and never give up. Keep doing what you're doing, focus on your why, and especially if you have children, just support your children, let them do what they want to do. You know, I let my children do what they wanted to do. Did not force them to go into careers where they did not want to go to. I remember one of my youngest got some very good scholarships, but she really wanted to go to this women's college, private school.
Yeah.
So when she chose that, I said, okay, fine. It was a lot of money, but I said, I let her do that because I wanted her to go where she wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I wanted her to do what she wanted to do.
How has it been for you raising, as a single mother, raising these two grown-ups right now?
It has not been easy. It has not been easy. Karibuni, tuende tukule ugali. This is good. Ubaya sikuweka soup sasa, lakini this should be okay, right?
Yeah, I think that should be good.
That should be good. I think. So it has not been easy, but I have wonderful children.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, in the U.S. we have no maids, we have no drivers, we have no one. You know, after school, when the child gets sick, they call you. You have to go and pick the children up. You have to go and take care of them.
I hope ugali yangu
It looks so good. I said to now mkono tukule kabisa. Okay, that it looks so. Kongoi missing, and next time tutapata mursik.
I hope so.
It's all the way from Kapkoi from Mama. So
Thank
Mama
you so
tutalete mursik. And let's enjoy our meal as we continue the conversation. But yes, it has not been easy, but I love my girls. They're beautiful, beautiful young ladies. They love the Lord, they love people, and they love their mama, just like I love them.
Yeah, you are telling me just how easy it hasn't been raising those two kids as a single parent.
It has not been easy, and it's not easy for anyone in the U.S. Even here, I don't want to underestimate that. So I want to applaud any single parent out there, be it a single father, a single mom, because we are taking in a heavy responsibility. We're taking in a heavy load. So keep doing what you're doing, and if I did it, you can do it. Yes. Yes, just make time, and especially for our dear parents who are in the U.S., especially those who are in the nursing field or whatever field.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be overwhelming trying to work so many hours, and then in the process you don't have time for the children. I've had this from the youth themselves because I'm at KCFA, Kenya Christian Fellowship. I'm the deputy director for the Promised Generation.
Yeah.
This is youth and college age students. So some of them will say, hey, you know, our parents are working 2-3 jobs and they don't have time for them. So they end up raising themselves. So I do encourage parents out there to, you know, cut down on their work if you can, and then make time for your children. Because, you know, they grow up so fast. Look at mine. The other day they were 8 and 3, 8 and 8. They're 3 years apart. But now they're grown, they've moved on, and professional young women, they take care of me. Take care of me.
Yeah.
So, how is food?
I love it.
Okay.
Especially the nyama. You didn't notice I had already started having a bite in the kitchen.
That's fun. That's what we do as women, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So, I miss ugali, I miss mboga.
What would you advise, you know, a couple that has a young family that has this opportunity to relocate abroad?
That's very important. So, of course, the opportunities are great. If you get that opportunity, take advantage of that. Just make sure that when you get to the U.S., plan your schedule accordingly. Schedule time for the children. Schedule time for yourselves, because you also need to take care of yourself, especially ladies. We don't do a good job taking care of ourselves. We're so busy taking care of everything else. So do what you have to do. The bills have to be paid. Rent has to be paid. You know, everything else. You know, in the U.S. we pay for everything. We buy everything. So the bills have to be paid. Food, everything, take care of that. But also make time for your children. So what we've seen in most cases is the father would work first shift and the mother works second shift. So whatever works, but just make sure that you are there for them. When you're home, be present with your children. You know, make time for them during the weekend.
Yeah.
At least make sure you have a day, you know, have dinner together, have meals together. That's very important. Have meals together. Be there to help them with homework. Be there to go to school. They have a lot of parents meeting, visit with them at school. Have friends come over. I used to have my children's friends come over all the time. So be there for them. In fact, I remember I had a big car. They used to call it the Stormtrooper. So I had a big Nissan Pathfinder, and it was an eight-seater. So my kids used to love it. They call it the Stormtrooper because I used to put all the kids and take them to trips, go to the pool, go to the beach, go to the mountains. So after they grew up and all their friends are gone, they started driving themselves, so I sold my Stormtrooper. So those are the kind of things, is just being there for them, taking them to church. You know, my children have been so good because of that foundation that we really stayed in the church. They were in youth groups, they traveled, you know, whatever they did, I really just, it's sacrifice, it's a lot of sacrifice, but it pays off. It does pay off. Because I'm back now, they're all gone, I'm all by myself. I literally try to get them, it's like make an appointment.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, so it's crazy how life just turns out.
Where were you born and raised, Prof?
Okay, yes. I was born in Kapkoi, Elgeyo Marakwet. Actually, I was born in Tambach Hospital in Elgeyo Marakwet, KU North. I am the third born with a family of 9. I'm the first daughter.
How many girls? How many boys?
We are 2 girls, 7 boys.
Wow. Wow.
2 girls, 7 boys, yes. So we.
But you told me your dad passed on.
Yes, my dad passed on in 2008. He was diabetic and he had blood pressure. But he was a great teacher.
Yeah.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom. You know, she took care of everything else. My dad was a teacher. And he's the one, you know, between the two of them, they made sure that we went to school. We never lacked anything. We had education, we had whatever we needed. So I do want to thank my parents. Dad, you're watching from above. I took up your profession. You are a teacher, and my sister and I are teachers. So we want to thank you, Mommy. You are just an amazing, you are a trailblazer, Mom. You have taken care of all of us. We have never lacked anything. After Daddy left, you're still doing your thing. And you know we love you. We call it, we love you to the moon and back. So we love you, Mommy.
Yeah, to the moon and back. Cheers to Daddy above. Do you have any plans to come back home?
Yes, I am actually open to coming back home. You know, now that my kids are grown, I can retire anytime. I've worked for the state of North Carolina for 22 years. Yes. So I've worked for the state. Yeah, I've worked for the state of North Carolina for 22 years, and I've enjoyed it. And if any opportunity comes back, I will come back. You know. But the other thing I want to emphasize is you can serve your country from wherever you are. So if it means taking somebody's job, then I'm not willing to do that. But what I want to emphasize is you can serve your country from anywhere, anytime, where we are. That is what we do as scholars, as Kenyan scholars in diaspora, as students. We're always looking for opportunities to pay back and to pay forward. So even if I don't get that opportunity, but if I do, I think I'm ready. I'm ready to come back home and serve my country, and especially to spend time with my mom, spend time with my family, because I've been gone for so long.
Thank you so much for your time, Prof.
Yes, thank you. So enjoy the ugali. We have plenty. We have, we have to finish it because now the time we should. What do we do with the leftover?
We can't
You
finish
cooked a lot of ugali. You cooked a lot of it.
I just took your instructions because it's you who put the water.
So now we have to finish this
ugali. Ile ugali melala wewe? Then you can't throw away ugali.
Nitakula ile nyingine inaitwa nini? The leftover kwa sufuria.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you call it, but we call it
yes. Yes. Now, even this one, you can just wake in the foil and stack it in the refrigerator.
I know my kids would not eat, so I never save that. Just cook enough for that.
Yourself.
Yeah, but it's okay. We have friends, so we'll always. I'll try it though.
Yeah, try. I mean, you can't be throwing away ugali, especially with the price right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the prices of unga, right?
That is it.
So you come back tomorrow to cool the leftover.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up for today. I hope you enjoyed the show and the cooking that we just did. Remember, if you have a story with a global recognition, please don't hesitate to write to us through globetraction@standardmedia.ok or media platforms at Globetraction. You can also follow me at Pasil Telewa on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for more of behind the scenes and any other stories making headlines on the global scene. Until next time, I hope to catch up with you again only on KTN News at 8:30 every Saturday. Bye-bye.
I lived in Kenya. I was appointed the first woman vice president of Citibank. Most of us have seen you when you're this big giant, who has conquered and shattered glass ceilings. How did you even envision that you can be the first, woman president in the continent?
In a way, I had a long journey to reach that far. Aside from taking positions as an activist, I was part of the young activists in the society. The first time I participated in election was 1985. I ended up in jail because that election that was held was fraudulent, and I took a position with my party that was respected. I was elected senator.
She's Africa's democratically elected female president, a Nobel Prize winner, and a mother of 4 amazing boys. She's also the 24th president of the Republic of Liberia. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is our guest today on Globetraction. And tonight, we hear from her on how it's been empowering women across the globe. Hello and welcome to Globetraction. My name is Pasil Telewa, and hope you enjoy Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's story.
Nobel laureate Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is a leading promoter of freedom, democracy, peace, justice, and women's empowerment. Known internationally as Africa's Iron Lady, Ellen served as president of Liberia for 12 years between 2006 and 2018. She led Liberia through reconciliation and recovery following the nation's decade-long civil war as well as Ebola crisis. She won international acclaim for achieving economic, social, and political change. She is recognized as a global leader in women's empowerment. Besides winning prestigious Nobel Prize for Peace in 2011, Ellen is also the recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the United States' highest civilian award, for her personal courage and unwavering commitment to expanding freedom and improving the lives of Africans. President Sirleaf has been awarded honorary doctorates by more than 15 institutions and has been ranked among the top 100 most powerful women in the world, Forbes 2012, the most powerful woman in Africa, Forbes Africa 2011, one of 6 women of the year, Glamour 2010, among the 10 best leaders in the world, Newsweek 2010, and top 10 female leaders, Time 2010. In 2008, she published her critically acclaimed memoir, The Child Will Be Great. And for these and many more, the Globe Traction Show with Taylor.
It's nice to see you, see what you've been able to do, what drives you each day, and see the need to do this kind of things, because you have the option to just take care of yourself.
I think I'm by the situation of my own beginnings. My mother and father were able to gain education through hardship programs because the majority of indigenous background. And I had grandmothers on both sides. So with the focus on education, took care of us. And education for me, I think it was driven first by being someone with the will to challenge the status at an early age. Part of school, junior official. And I think that challenge and you always take positions. And I think that's step is once you gain your respect, your values, and your attention to whatever circumstance you find yourself in, that it makes it easier for you to be able to identify your goals, the pathway toward the achievement of those goals. In that respect, I also learned to know that I can't do alone. There's no monopoly on ideas or knowledge. And so, friends, family, who